Hi, I'm Daniel Kingsley. I'm the Director of Presence Training, and this is our guide to authentic public speaking and the principles of authentic public speaking. And the next of the principles I'd like to share with you is the principle of seeing and allowing yourself to be seen. See and be seen. What do I mean by saying see and be seen? Well, it's connected to the principle I've mentioned previously, which is stop performing and start connecting. And you'll see how the two link together in a moment. See and be seen. So a lot of the time when we are speaking in public, when people ordinarily speak in public, they're not really seeing their audience. They're seeing a mass of faces, they're throwing words at them, they're hoping the audience will catch the words. They may be worrying about what their audience is thinking about them, but they're not actually really seeing their audience. And in not really seeing their audience, they're not really connecting with their audience. So the first principle in seeing and allowing yourself to be seen is actually to see your audience. And the best way of doing this, in my experience, is to actually connect with your audience one-to-one. Obviously, in a huge audience, you won't connect with every single person in the room, but you're actually forming a one-to-one connection with your audience. So this principle was, in my experience, unearthed by Lee Glickstein, who invented the speaking circles method, and he was one of my teachers. And he framed a phrase called relational presence, which is being with your audience, instead of as a mass, being with them one by one, seeing and allowing yourself to be seen. So you're with one member of the audience and you're hanging out with them for long enough to actually feel that connection, which is usually 3 or 4 seconds. It can be longer, but a minimum of 3 or 4 seconds is what's required to actually feel the connection. And then you can move on to another member of the audience and you're hanging out with them for a little while. And then you can move on to another member of the audience and you're hanging out with them for a little while. And the idea is that you are always with somebody with your eyes, at least for 95% of the time. Maybe you need to look at your notes occasionally. And when you're seeing them, you're actually allowing yourself to see those members of your audience as real human beings. So one way of doing this is by relaxing your eye contact. If your eye contact is too intense, it's intense for you, it's intense for them, they feel stared at, it's not much fun. With more relaxed eye contact, this can actually be much easier. So we can relax our eye contact using peripheral vision, which is what we use when we're crossing the road. So your eye contact is not staring, it's not even looking, but you allow yourself to have a gentle gaze when you're in eye contact with each of the people for a few seconds. And when you're seeing them, you're not worrying about what they're thinking, you're not worrying about what you're getting back. You're just seeing them as a human being. So we're seeing the humanness underneath the personality. It's rather the way you might gaze with a young child when there's no particular agenda going on there, when you're not worried about what they're thinking about you. You're just enjoying that connection. You're seeing them. And one of the advantages of using this relaxed eye contact, firstly, it's going to give you much more sense of connection with your audience because you really are seeing them. And they will be able to feel that. Secondly, it's actually going to start to calm you down. There is a guy called Professor Stephen Porges who talks about what it takes for human beings to feel safe and to feel confident. And one of the things he lists in that list of things it takes for human beings to feel safe and confident is non-threatening eye contact. So by allowing yourself to make non-threatening eye contact with your audience, it makes you feel calmer, it makes you feel safer, it makes them feel safer and more connected. So it does a huge number of good things. In terms of allowing yourself to be seen, just because you're seeing your audience, it doesn't mean that you're allowing them to see you. So this is a separate choice. It's about letting some of your guard down, and rather than having a professional persona, which is whereby you're performing, not really letting yourself out, in allowing yourself to be seen, you're allowing at least some of the real you out to meet the audience. And audiences can feel when you're doing this, when you're actually allowing more of the real you out, not performing so much. An audience can actually feel that this is what you're doing. And The equation goes like this. If you want connection with your audience, you're going to need to have a degree of intimacy with them. To have a degree of intimacy with anybody, you need at least a little bit of vulnerability. Not necessarily a lot of vulnerability, but at least a little bit of vulnerability. So vulnerability is about letting some of your guard down and letting the real you out, letting yourself be seen. Now, for a number of people, this is scary, but with practice, you'll recognize that it actually feels much safer to be yourself, to allow yourself to be seen by your audience, and to feel the connection that that gives you with an audience. Now, obviously, you don't let your guard all the way down right at the beginning, all the way. It's very much a gradual process. You let your guard down a little, which allows the audience to relax a bit, and then maybe it feels a bit safer for you to let your guard down a little bit more. So in other words, you're relaxing a bit, which allows the audience to relax a bit, which allows you to relax a bit more. And gradually you go down together, but you're the one leading that process. You're the one at the front of the room. The audience has temporarily elected you the leader, as Livingston Taylor says. So you're the one who needs to lead that process by allowing yourself to be seen. So that is a quick tour through the principle of seeing and allowing yourself to be seen. And hopefully you'll find that useful, and it will give you more connection, more confidence, and more authenticity in your public speaking. So if you've enjoyed this video, as always, please like and share it. Do subscribe to our channel, and visit us at www.presencetraining.co.uk for more tips and information on authentic public speaking. And I'll see you next time for the next of the principles of authentic public speaking.